compensated for it with the energy of endurance, the energies of the pain I was feeling, of the optimistic view, of the will to carry forward. Those energies had already compensated for what I was going to receive. And, you know, the more energy you put into something, the more compensation you give, the better your results are going to be. In any spell or prayer, the more energies you give in compensation, the more results you will achieve. For example, if you're going to, say, take a very big test for college. You've got a big, huge test coming up. You're extremely stressed about it. You don't do tests well. You get sick, or you get physically sick, or you get so stressed that you can't focus, and it's just horrible. Well, say that was going to happen to you, and you knew it was going to happen to you, but this was like one of the most important tests of your life. And you do a spell to get the energies, to get the energy you need to get over that stress, to get through the stress and get through the pains and the hardship, and to be able to succeed and get what you needed. Well, if you put all of your heart into that, if you focus all of that emotion of this future of your life depending on this one test, if you put every emotion you feel of that and put a high amount of energy into it, it will likely be better for you. If all you do is cast the spell and don't put any energy in it, if all you do is say the prayer and don't put any energy into it, all you're doing is saying words, yeah, that puts a little bit of energy in, but will you get an ace on the test? Will you burst through into your future like nothing because of that high amount of energy you put in? You know, probably not, because that's how spells and energies work. The more you put in, the more you get out. It's like a soda machine. If you put $6 in, you can get 6 sodas. If you put $1 in, you're gonna get 1 soda. And that's the basic function of a spell as well. You put a huge amount of energy in, you're gonna get huge results. You put a tiny little meager amount of energy in, you're gonna get tiny little meager results. Anyway, I think I've just about covered most everything I wanted to say. Prayer in jashin is viewed in different ways for different people. You can use those foundations that I gave you. You can say something along the lines of blessed be during any moment. You can say something a little more deep, like hail jashin, you are appreciated or adored, and blessed be. You can say something very deep. You can add to whatever you want. You can cast a spell, and the more energy you put into any of it, the better your results will be. And that's a basic summary of everything that I wanted to talk about in this podcast. As far as physical functions, there's one more thing I want to point out. Physical things during prayer. Some religions will rub prayer beads over their hands while they pray or chant. For example, the Tibetan Buddhists, they, do their little prayer bead thing. Some people, like Catholics, for example, will hold a rosary and do symbolic gestures over their body before they pray. Others will merely put their hands together. A Wiccan would possibly write it down, or just bow or kneel before an altar and cast their energies out and not do any physical gesture. Physical things are also important in jashin. However, it is also a personal preference. You can't just... Well, you could, I suppose, but there's much more energy and much more devotion, much more results to come if you put the physical energy in it as well. If all you do is say something in your head while you're standing there doing dishes, you're not going to get nearly as much as if you are to kneel before an altar, or stand if you have a tall enough altar that you can stand in front of it, which I unfortunately do not. Kneeling or standing before an altar, examining the symbols on it, putting yourself in a meditative state of mind, and then I prefer, personally, to hold my rosary. And I do that because the rosary is symbolic of jashin. that symbol is interpreted in many different ways to represent almost every concept of jashin. It is also the symbol of jashin. And to hold the rosary makes me feel more connected to what I am doing, to what I am saying. And so I personally will take the rosary, and I either hold the rosary over my heart, or I will draw the symbol of jashin, the inverted triangle, over my heart, and then hold my hand out. I will do something along those lines, and then I will do whatever I'm doing. That just gives me that state of mind, that meditative, prepared, connected state of mind. So, physical movement during spell casting or during prayer is very important. It is up to you what makes you feel connected, what makes you feel meditative, what makes you feel ready or spiritual or calm or energetic, or whatever you want, whatever you need for that spell or prayer. Whatever brings that feeling for you, do it. I mean, I don't always do the same thing. Sometimes I will not even grasp my rosary. I'll maybe touch it, and then I will take up an athame and draw the symbol and draw symbols in the air with my athame, and that's what makes me feel connected to a certain spell. It's all up to you, and you can change it every time you do it. You don't have to stick to a strict method of what you do. Depending on the spell, depending on the prayer, you can modify it and do whatever you feel is going to connect you the most. And you can do it repetitively, you can do it once. Just do whatever you need to do to get yourself in that connected and meditative state of mind. And once you've done that, then that is what is going to allow you to put the most energy into a situation. So yes, physical movement, physical actions are very important. However, they are not required, nor are they a strict thing. I mean, you don't have to draw the symbol of jashin over your chest every time you do something. I mean, the Catholics, yes, Catholics draw the cross over themselves all the time. That is like a physical movement that they constantly do, and almost all of them do it. And there's very little besides that they do. That is not how jashin works. If you do whatever makes you feel connected, if that's drawing the symbol over your chest, if that's drawing it in the air, if that's just grasping your rosary, if that's just flailing your arms around, whatever makes you feel connected and ready to give energy is what you do. Okay, so I have been going on for about a half hour now, as my sound recording is telling me, so I will shut up now, and I hope that this podcast will be helpful to some of you. I hope that you will actually listen to it, because if not, then I just wasted a half hour of my life. So I hope you all will be helped in some way by this podcast, and I will be hearing from you guys and speaking to you guys again very soon. Thank you, and Benedictus.